As the Bank of Canada prepares to raise interest rates again on September 7th, RBC economists predict the Canadian economy is on track to see a mild recession in 2023. Now, this comes as Canadians continue to deal with inflation, which slowed to 7.6% last month. This is down from the nearly 40-year high of 8.1% in June. But while gas prices declined, food prices rose at its fastest pace in 41 years, with prices up by almost 10% from a year earlier. The Bank of Canada is paying attention to this latest inflation reading as it gears up to make its next key interest rate setting next month. But how can Canadians prepare for a looming interest rate hike and a potential mild recession? Well, joining us now to help us with this is Elka Rubak, principal of Rubak Wealth. Ma'am, welcome to Forum Daily.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great, ma'am. Thank you again for your time today. Now, what do you think RBC economists meant when they predicted a mild recession for Canada?
Well, I guess they're trying to say in layman terms that they don't think it'll be as severe as they were originally forecasting. We have to remember that we're coming out of a pandemic, but also combined with geopolitical instability, supply chains interrupted. Everything that has gone wrong and could have gone wrong has gone wrong. But I guess the markets have started to build it into their projections, and they don't think it'll be as bad as they thought it would.
Well, that sounds quite relieving. Now, is this a prediction in line with forecasts from other economists and experts?
Well, I pay a lot of attention to the US because Canada tends to follow. I think some other markets are a little bit more reserved, thinking that it's mild. But from what a Canadian can do, it's just prepare yourself and do what you can control. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. We don't know if there's going to be another disruption in the market. So at least from a Canadian individual family perspective, focus on what you can control.
So how would a potential mild recession or a full-blown recession look like for Canadians?
Well, first of all, the interest rates at which the bank lends money to other institutions is going to go up. Why? Because they're trying to control inflation. The value of money has gone down. There was a lot of money printed without the necessary goods and services backing up that money. So there's a lot of money in the market. People are willing to pay more for less items available. So when you have to pay more for gas and food and all these things, well, you need to make sure that you understand where your money's coming from and how you're spending it. How much is that going to affect you? It really is a very personal situation. Somebody who has two incomes is one situation. A family with one income is very different. So how it will affect everybody across the board is not equal.
All right, and we understand that you have some recommendations for Canadians to potentially prepare for a potential recession. So can you tell us a little bit more about this advice?
Of course, and I think that's even beyond a recession or correction or anything. It's people need to have a financial plan. Understand that is a blueprint for where the family wants to go. Or if you don't have a family, if you're even you yourself, you need to understand where your money comes from and how you spend it. And then when you have that spending awareness, you can divide it into what's discretionary and what's not discretionary. And when you see the discretionary part of it, so money that you could choose not to spend, and you start saving for an emergency fund, that's a really good idea when you're preparing for a recession. So you need emergency funds. You need to have discipline. Look for better shopping options. If you go to the grocery store, don't buy what you feel like. Really stick to a disciplined approach. And that's on any given day, but more so when you're prepared. I'd rather prepare for the worst and then find out that I had extra money than, if you're 73 and now you have to go out and find a job. That's very complicated.
Some good advice to consider there, Ms. Rubak. Just about a minute left here. So why don't you tell us what kind of resources are currently available for Canadians to have in order to prepare for a potential recession or just prepare to be financially stable?
Well, stability would be my ideal situation, but I think everybody can go to the Canada.org website, and there is a budget tool there. Just type budget Canada, and there's a system that fills it out for you. If you don't know how to do it, you can reach out to a financial advisor. Any financial advisor that has the designation should be able to prepare a financial plan for you. Some will charge, some won't, but it's open for discussion. Make sure that if you do have an investment strategy, you are very realistic with your risk tolerance. Because if you're going to go into a panic attack and because your investments are too risky, maybe it's time to figure out what the right level is. But don't pull out of the market because then you're locking in the loss. That's a bad idea. Don't time the market. Talk to people who know about it. Your neighbors are phenomenal people, but not everybody's in the investment world. So make sure that you make an informed decision. And if you don't know, ask. There are plenty of resources. Don't do anything short term, and really, really keep a long-term view of your investment strategy. And the most important thing I tell people, talk to your family about it. If your kids are used to a certain spending pace and that is going to change, don't put them through the shock of not knowing what's going on, because maybe you're fine, but if you talk to them about, we need to be disciplined, we need to cut back on this or that, it's a lot better for them to know than to find out because they kind of hear things in the kitchen. So talk about it. It's better.
All right. Well, Ms. Ruback, thank you again for some great advice and joining us today on Forum Daily.
You're very welcome. Thank you.